Here we are, Northwestern Voices, and it's a very sort of special episode today because we are recording this at a meeting of the Park Rapids Rotary Club. And I'm joined today first by the president of said club, Mr. Mark Anderson.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for doing this.
Mark, can you tell us briefly a little bit about yourself and what you do here in Park Rapids?
I work in Northwoods Bank. I'm a father of 3. I have 9 grandchildren. I was actually born in Park Rapids, grew up in Grand Forks, but I've been back here for another 26 years, so most of my life. But yeah, we love the area. I always did as a kid, and it's a great place to raise a family and great community.
What inspired you to take on the role of the president of the Park Rapids Rotary Club?
Well, Stuart can be very inspiring at times. But and honestly, knowing a lot of the past presidents, Maria is a good friend, and just seeing all the people, Sue, yourself, it was kind of inspiring. The Cease family, who I'm friends with, a lot of them do some of the stuff in Bagley, related stuff. So yeah, it's been encouraging. I started in the last few years, so it was an interesting transition from, not being in Rotary to slowly becoming, training as a president. So it's a whirlwind, but it also is great. And, what a great group of people. It's nice to be able to say that I'm a Rotarian because of the people that are in the group,
It's kind of funny how you go from being an initiate to the president pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, I found out when I was asking some people to be the next president or 2 years down the road that, yeah, there's a lot of people that have done it before. So if you can't do it twice, you might end up doing it once early in your career. So yeah.
We have a motto here, which is service above self. And in your mind, to your mind, how does that guide our club's work in the community?
Well, we say it every meeting. It's very important, but to me, it's interesting because it is service above self. But I think, at least for myself, I get more out of it from living that model than actually I give. You give as much as you can, but it's amazing how much you get back out of it. So, I don't know. It's been great for me, and it's just a nice way to live life, especially when your kids are out of the house and you have time to serve another purpose.
So Sue's going to come on later and tell us about all the various projects that we work on. But is there one in particular that we're working on now that you're really excited about?
Well, yeah, to pick one would be difficult, but what we do with the youth is we have the RILA, we have scholarships, we have the Food Angels program. I don't know, that's important to me, building up the youth and just making sure that they have as much as we can give for them is nice. We do meals for the teachers at the beginning of the school year. So yeah, the stuff we do with the youth is.
You mentioned Food Angels too, or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Food Angels, and of course the Dragon Boat is always super fun personally. So.
Okay, in 1 or 2 minutes, can you give me your vision for the future of our club?
Well, it's interesting because my term ends here in a little bit, and just sustainability. We need to be aggressive in selling ourselves to the community, which I think we do, but I think we could do better so we can keep our membership. But more than anything, is just making sure that we're sustainable for the future because it's such a great organization, and we need it to stay prevalent in Park Rapids. So.
All right, well, thank you, Mark. And if you don't mind staying up here, we're going to invite one of our most esteemed members, that being Mr. Stuart Larson, to come up and join us here at the podium.
Remember what I said, he's very persuadable.
Yeah. And Stu is a gentleman who has the distinction of having joined the Rotary Club on the same day that I did, I believe. At least the Park Rapids version of it. By mistake. If you could maybe just move that mic back a little bit there. Yeah. Here comes Caleb with a little.
Adjust it for you really quick.
There we go.
I think that'll be
Really quick.
yeah,
Yep.
there you go. Is that quick?
Could you fix the camera, because a lot of times the camera shoots right up my nose. So, yeah. The last time I was interviewed at a courthouse, I made them stop and adjust their cameras up like that because I was getting right up the.
For the next hour.
Yeah, and
The reason it was so
and
low
I
is they had to
inherited
get the-
some of what my dad
They had to
there,
get the
so-
numbers in.
Right. Oh, who are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Persuadable.
So, Stuart, why
What do
would
you want to know?
why would you encourage someone in the community to join our club?
Can I tell my own story to get there?
Yes, in 5 minutes or less.
You said 2 minutes. 5 minutes is a lot of work.
Okay, 2 minutes.
Actually, I was in a service club for 40 years before I came here. So I knew I wanted to be in a service club. And it was probably back in 15. I went to there was the gathering of all the clubs, and it was at St. Peter's at the Catholic Church, and you went into the various booths. The whoever it was, and I don't recall who it was that had the booth for Rotary, said the following as we walked up to it. Don't worry, there's lots of young people in here, so you can leave for the winter if you want to. So that's how it started. And then I was not aware, having been in a service club in a smaller town, that when you came in, they grabbed you, they made you a member right away. Here you actually had to be a sponsor. So I found out when the meeting was. I come to the meeting, I walk in the door, and I go, "What are you doing here?" And Maria,
She was the one who said that.
she sort of said that, but she decided.
that today,
But she
too,
decided
didn't
to sponsor me. So,
Yeah.
but from a standpoint, it is rewarding to be involved in the community. An experience that I got to have that I never had before is I was part of the youth committee for a while. I was at the first meal that we served the teachers. I don't know what that was, 8 years ago, when the committee started. I also got to, with Dan Pike, got to interview RILA candidates.
And that's
that
the
was
Rotary
interesting.
Youth Leadership. I don't know what the A stands for, but association.
But it was interesting, the quality of young people that wanted to be involved.
Yeah.
So those were rewarding new experiences. And the most new experience that I got conned into by, what's his name back there, Mark. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He comes up to me one day, 8 years ago, and he says, "How would you like to run the golf benefit?" I don't golf.
Yeah.
But he talked me into it. And it was a rewarding number of years because it turned out well. And then I finally got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jeff's doing it this year.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's nice after 7 years, but it's a great benefit.
And
it
when
gives
is
us
that
more-
usually?
Last Wednesday in August.
Last Wednesday in August.
Last Wednesday in August. Do we have the date, Jeff?
The last Wednesday in August, he says. So. Okay.
Okay, what are you thinking about? Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Stuart, for sharing that. And we'd now like to speak to Pat Sullivan.
I'm done.
You're done. Yeah. Maybe we should get a hook over there.
That's the shortest he's ever spoken.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're joined now by another long-time member of the Rotary Club here in Park Rapids, Pat Sullivan. Most people know him as an insurance agent, but he's also one of the leaders of this club. And Pat, can you share a favorite memory from an event or a project that shows why this club matters to this community?
Well, that's hard.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things we've done over the years. Probably one of my favorites was the fitness club that we did a few years back. The middle school gym teachers came to the club asking for some help in fundraising and developing a fitness park for the community, and primarily for the students, but for the community as a whole. And so Dave Collins, who was used to be a member of our club, who's since passed away, a great guy, he kind of started spearheading, and he grabbed me and dragged me along with him, and got this really nice fitness park. It's located between the tennis courts and the new bus garages at the school, and it's really nice. It's and on each piece of equipment there's a QR code you can scan to see how to use the equipment and things. It's free to the public. The only time that the public really can't be using it is when students are on it, but otherwise it worked out great. We got a lot of support from community businesses to help fund it, and spent a lot of money on that equipment there. It's not a playground, it is exercise equipment, and it's a really nice setup.
How do you think that fitness park sort of embodies the spirit or the values of Rotary?
Service above self, giving back to the community, helping the community out, doing what's best for the community.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, thank you, Pat Sullivan.
Thank you.
And we will now move on with Shannon Frauenholz. Did I say that?
Done.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
I think we
Thank
should
you.
have a monthly meeting at the exercise park for our group, just to keep us healthy.
That's not a bad idea.
November would be perfect.
Actually, yeah. Probably not a lot of use at that time. So, Shannon Frauenholz, and if I remember my basic German, doesn't that mean like woman of the woods or
Yes.
something? It does,
It
right?
does.
I knew it. Okay, just wanted to show off a little bit there. So, how has being a part of? I know you recently. Well, I shouldn't say recently, but in the last year or so,
Yep.
moved up to Park Rapids. But you had been a Rotarian in another town.
Yes.
But how has being a part of this Rotary Club sort of help you transition or into this community or connect with others and grow personally here in Park Rapids?
Well, having been a Rotarian in my old town that we moved from, I knew that when we transitioned up here, we didn't know anybody. Like, we knew nobody. And so I thought, I knew Rotary, I knew kind of what they stood for. And so I thought, well, this would be a great opportunity for me to get to know my new community, get to know some new people. So what I really like is that you have all these different people that you see out in the community now, which for the first year we lived here, we didn't have. And now when you see someone and you wave to them in the grocery store, like, that's kind of a neat thing for me. So I like that. I miss that from my old hometown. So that's kind of been a nice thing about this Rotary Club.
It kind of gives you a sort of a built-in group of people that you
Yes.
know and
Yes.
are a friendly face out there.
And it gives you something to get out into your community. Like, we used to go to the Second Street stage shows, but we didn't know anybody. And now we can go and we can help and we can volunteer. We get to meet new community members, learn more about what we're doing in this community. And I think that's been really beneficial.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Shannon.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Shannon jumped right in right away, and it's been fun. A lot of the new members do, obviously, because
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. That's what we're here for.
A lot of times too, I think when people come from other clubs, they have an idea, or an expectation of what a Rotary Club can be, and sometimes it's a little different. But I think there's some basic things about every club that kind of remain the same, like singing and lunches and cool guys like us.
Oh yeah,
you know.
I was gonna. I figured her old club wasn't gonna be watching this, so we should have asked which one was better. But
Oh yeah, I
we
forgot.
probably should get the answer first.
We can ask her that offline.
Yes.
So. All right. Our next Rotarian is Joan Tweedale, and Joan's also wearing her Rotary T-shirt. So thank you for doing that today, Joan. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. So Joan is in charge of. Well, I don't know if are you in charge of the speakers and stuff like that, the programs? Okay. So one thing is that about Rotary that maybe a lot of people don't know is that it's more than just a lunch. We have a basic club meeting where we do some things like talk about positive things that have happened in our lives for that particular week. We call it Happy Dollars. We make announcements where we kind of see what's going on around town, and if anybody's got an event or something that they want to share, they can do it then. And then we usually have a speaker. And for today's meeting, this is the speaker. But normally that requires a lot of work in coordinating to get the high quality speakers that we get here. And so Joan is one of the key people in that project. Joan, what is something that our Rotary Club does that makes you proud to be a member?
Well, I think our outreach to the schools in the last 5 to 10 years, we've really increased that. And I think that's really neat. We didn't have the presence, years ago that we do now, and with all the programs that we work with then, that's pretty neat. Of course, the fireworks, everybody knows about that, so that's always something to be proud about too.
Yep, and that's something that I think Sue will be talking about shortly. But who has been one of the most fun or engaging speakers that you recall being here at our Rotary?
Zach's asking for him. You just say Zach. Besides Zach.
Yeah.
Besides that.
Yeah, besides me, of
Oh,
course.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think Green Valley Bean, I didn't know anything about that industry out there, so that was pretty interesting. to
Yeah,
hear
wasn't
about
that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they were, I think, one of the biggest producers or processors of
Right.
canned beans in the country.
Yeah, importers, exporters, dry beans.
Yeah, dry beans. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to misspeak there. And then the gentleman who was a representative of that company came and he shared a recipe with us too. I believe it was kind of a
that's
fun
right.
fun addition to his time here. Okay.
Well, I just want to mention
yes.
the programs is, especially when I started coming, it's what a better way to know your community than having somebody come into you. It's an education you just can't get anyplace else. So it's very fun, and it's harder work, I think, than people know how much you do on it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that some of the guests that we've had, I mean, it's just you're surprised. I mean, that's one of the things that I like about this community is that there's just so many interesting people out there, but you just kind of have to know where to look.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful and grateful that I'm a member of this club because, for the pursuit of doing the podcast, it's a great place to try to find guests. And it's
Yeah.
happened quite a few times, not only the members of this club, but then also the speakers. I can kind of pull them aside afterwards and say, hey, how'd you like to be on the podcast? So I've kind of, benefiting from all your hard work in putting that together. So thank you, Joan.
You're welcome.
He's
When I
talking-
tell people that we have a new speaker every week, they can't believe it.
Yeah.
In this small town, but
Yeah.
it's pretty neat.
It can be done. So, okay. Well, thank you very much, Joan. And now we're going to bring up someone who's actually not a Rotarian, but he will be next week, and that's Neil Litfin. And Neil's a representative of Edward Jones and financial advisor, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. And so Neil has gone through our initiation process. He's received his tattoos. No, only.
How's the arm?
He's gone through the various initiation rites. No, there are none. Aside from having you do have to attend 3 meetings, and he has met that requirement. So, but Neil is going to join next week if it works out with the schedules, and which I hope it will. But Neil, why are you joining the club?
Yeah, so the first person that brought up Rotary to me was actually my neighbor, who we're sitting right next to right now.
okay.
So, yeah, Mark and I just live right across the road from each other. But
So a year later, after he found out I wouldn't be president anymore.
perfect time. No,
Yeah.
I've heard so many great things about Rotary, and not growing up in the Park Rapids area, love meeting new people and volunteer work and everything like that. Just want to kind of give back to the community we're around. I've always enjoyed that. So
it's kind of a rowdy bunch. Would you agree? Or- You think you'll be able to fit in here?
definitely, yep. Everybody's been very welcoming, and I enjoy coming every Wednesday I can make it. So.
And one of the things I really enjoy about it too is the great job that Connie does with bringing like different kinds of food for lunch. Because I, for one, really appreciate the fact that we're not always having the same food or catering service every single week. And Connie, I think, does such a great job in like mixing it up and patronizing our local businesses.
Definitely.
For our lunch and our meals. I think that really kind of adds to the sense of community that we have here with our
Absolutely.
lunches and stuff like that too.
Yeah, very
So.
grateful for that as well.
One of the things we'll go through next week when you're inducted is, the education that you will bring and we all bring to this group is important so we know the community. But then also your presence in your vocation also brings it to your vocation. So it's kind of a nice little little swaps. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grateful to be here.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Okay. Well, thanks, Neil, and we'll hopefully induct you as a Rotarian next week.
Sounds great.
Okay. And last but not least is the Duchess of the Rotary Club.
I forgot my tiara.
Yeah.
And none other than Sue Tomty. So,
Well, thank you,
yes.
Zach. It's always a pleasure to be here, and it's always a pleasure to talk about Rotary because we do so many fun things. We really do. And none of our speakers talked about the amazing, oh no, somebody did mention golf. Did we mention golf?
yes.
Oh my gosh, the golf benefit is one of the best things that we do because all that money that we raise at the golf benefit goes back to our community. I mean, it goes back in to so many different programs, and people can request donations, and we have a way to help people do projects in the area, and we do that through fundraising, and fundraising at our golf benefit is one of the biggest ones. So if you're a golfer or a non-golfer, come out at the end of the last Wednesday in August because that is fun. Yes, you did talk about that. Good job, Stuart. August 27th, 2025. Thank you.
Sue, is there a fireworks show in Park
Oh
Rapids?
my goodness. Yes. There is a fireworks show in Park Rapids, Zach. And you know, truly, it is often the best fireworks show north of St. Cloud in the state of Minnesota on the 4th of July. Okay, did you get all those distinctions? But it is truly a great show, and it is a community show, and it's everybody in the community contributing to that, because it wouldn't happen without community contributions. We don't get any government funding. We don't get anything from, I mean, it is not put on by the city or the county. It is by all of us because we're contributing to it. And this year, we raise money for next year's show. So we are raising money for the 2026 fireworks show, and our goal is $50,000 this year. And just to show you, we've got a couple fun things. When you'll see us at various events, and we will have the fireworks t-shirts again this year, and it's a new design, a new color, and you can get your very own one for $25. So that is a great thing.
But they're not for sale, are they, Sue?
Yeah, actually they are.
Oh.
Yes, they are. We've made that distinction. They are available for sale.
Okay.
For $25. And the other things that we're raising money for the fireworks show, because it does take a lot to put on a show, is you have to have a little bit of security involved. You have to have, you know, things like porta potties. You have to have signage. You have to have a lot of other background things. So we put quite a bit of that money straight into the actual show itself, but then we need the volunteers, and I have to talk about how wonderful our volunteers are. Our club would not exist without everybody's commitment and our volunteerism that we do. It is truly remarkable, and it's super fun. Oh, we didn't talk about dragon boats today. Oh my goodness! Another fun thing that our club
we'll have
does.
to close with that.
I know.
Yes.
Dragon boats. I'll quit talking. So lots of fun things that we do as a club, as individuals, and we collaborate together. The collaboration between our club, our city, our county, our people from all over is really phenomenal. And that's why I'm all energized about our Rotary Club, and I would encourage anybody who's interested, come find out more about us.
Thank you so much, Sue. I really appreciate it, and we all appreciate everything you do for the club. So, well, on behalf of Mark and Sue and the rest of the club members, we just ask you to continue to live service above self to all those who are here, and to anyone who's actually interested in Rotary, you can look us up on the Facebook. I think you just put in Park Rapids Rotary. It should get you there. If you know a member of Rotary, just don't be afraid to come right up and introduce yourself and tell them that you're interested in it. Or you can be like Stuart Larson and just show up at the club, and we meet on Wednesdays in the basement of the hospitals where we are now. And I'm sure that somebody here would be willing to talk to you about sponsorship to join the club as well. So again, thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.